Welcome to Can't Stop the Pop, the podcast where we, that's me, Craig,
and me, Matty,
do a deep dive on a song from the 90s or noughties.
So, Craig, what song are we doing this week?
Well, we are talking about Coffee by Supersister. I'm not sure whether you've heard of this song, but it's got quite a following. However, we're not doing a normal episode because we have been joined by Louise from Supersister, fresh off of the Mighty Hoopla set, to talk about the song, to talk about the group, and to talk about the album.
Hi, Louise from Supersister. How are you?
I'm really, really good. Thank you. I'm really well. Yes. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us. We absolutely love you guys, and we particularly love Coffee. I mean, it's an anthem. I was dancing to it on Sunday at Hoopla, and it was just joyous.
I know, it really pulled a crowd, didn't it?
Oh, it was great.
It was so good. It was so good. And it's just for us to see it still pulling a crowd 25 years on is just like unbelievable.
It's amazing. Well, we've got a couple of like deep dive questions for you. So get your thinking cap on, and we'll let's get started. Go on, you take the floor, Craig.
Okay, so let's talk about the song, iconic. What did you think when did you first hear it? What did you think?
Yeah, so when I first heard it, I was straight away drawn to the lead line in the chorus, which is I like my man. When then if you listen to It's Raining Men, it's exactly the same. And I straight away was like, that's so anthemic, because obviously It's Raining Man is just such a hit. But it wasn't made because of that. It's just how Sean wrote the song. And of course, I think that just leans into the whole anthemic nature of it. So it's just become this kind of like, and we always knew that was always going to be the first release for Supersister, and we always knew that would be, because it's very much how we were as a group of people. You know, we're very tongue-in-cheek, we're very naughty, we're very kind of like, just, the way we are. And the way Sean wrote for us, it was very bespoke for us as people. He was going out with Tina, his sister was Eleanor, and he knew me. So it was very organic and very much like we just used to all hang out together. So he knew our personalities, and with that obviously came this side to him, which he was just like, you should do this song. And yeah, so that's how it started.
Oh, amazing. Well, you talked a little bit about the kind of like the cheeky nature of what you were like. The lyrics leave little to the imagination. Are you surprised that you were able to like not get away with it, because it is sexual, but it's very tongue in cheek. But what were your thoughts on that? Because it's such great lyrics.
It is such great lyrics, and I think the story of how those lyrics were formed was Sean, who wrote the song. He used to work for, I think he used to work for the council in Sheffield, and he heard two women over the photocopier saying, "Oh, I think I'll have a coffee next. Oh, how do you like your men? Like you like a coffee?" And literally, he just grabbed that hook line, and that's when he just was like, right, I'm going to write a song about it. And of course, the tongue-in-cheek nature of the song is what is so appealing. And all of our songs have that. All the songs on Lip Service, the album that we did, have got that. I don't know if you've listened to it, but we've got.
I have.
We've got. Yeah, there's lots of even the beautiful ballad of "Summer Gonna Come Again." Just the melodic. Verses and how he writes, "Summer gonna come again." That in itself is a well written kind of like line of a song. So he's always had that ability to kind of like melodically write, which is really unique. And he's an amazing songwriter.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I rewatched the video for coffee and I did not see any coffee in it. I saw some wine and I saw some water, I think. How did this oversight occur?
Biblical.
Please.
You know what? I actually feel like the coffee culture hadn't really started then. I really feel
Yeah.
like it's been in the last like 10, 15 years of Starbucks and Costa and everything else. But I kind of feel as if it had have been, we would have definitely had a coffee deal or something,
Yeah.
around that time. Because I just remember saying to our management, do you think if we rang Nescafe, we could like get like some kind of deal, or we'd get like a year's free Nescafe, and of course that was the leading like coffee brand at the time. So I just think we were just before our time, to be honest.
Damn it! There could have been a Starbucks or a Costa deal in there.
100%. Imagine how like we'd have just got all these deals through. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Like Nespresso. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter had nothing
yes.
on Supersister. There we go.
No, I know. Exactly.
So the song peaked at number 16 in the UK. And you were a new act and you were competing against a lot of girl bands at that time. So what was the expectation? Was that?
Well, do you know what? It's a really interesting story because our midweek chart position was, I think it was 10. And what happens is you get told your midweek chart position on a Monday, and then you have literally all week to kind of secure your for the chart on the Sunday. And we had a meeting with Top of the Pops, maybe on the Tuesday night. And he came to our hotel, the guy, and he just went, listen, he says, we really want to put you on. Remember, it used to be on a Thursday night at Top of the Pops. And he said, we really need that slot on Thursday to secure a top 5 position for the song. And he went, yeah, but, there's other bands out there that just need a little bit more exposure than you. And I was like, oh, like, which one? And he goes, well, there's a band out there at the minute. He said they've had no radio play, they've had no TV, they've had nothing. And they charted in at something like, 36. And he goes, I just feel really sorry for them. And I just think that I'm going to give them a shot. And I was just like, please. And we were literally begging with him, we need Top of the Pops. We need to get like a top 3, top 5. And that's what's missing. And he didn't go with us because he thought that coffee was so secure that it would do well on its own.
Wow.
And he gave this other band the slot. And guess what band it was?
Oh God, who was it?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Exclusive, a scandalo.
Scandal, yes. But that just goes to show the power of the TV and the radio at the time. And if, and I'm basically swiveling on one person's decision. So it was really, really tough for us that week because as a result, we never secured Top of the Pops. I don't think we had a Saturday morning TV book because we'd done so much promotion for coffee. We had promoted coffee all year. We were literally, everyone, like all the bands at all the road shows were like, congratulations, you have a number 1 hit. You've literally done your job so well. You have literally exploited this song so much. Everyone's bored of it. Like, as in the industry, they'd all heard it. We'd sang in every gay club 20 times over. It was definitely going top 3. And but it just shows you just needed that little slot on the Top of the Pops at the time. And you don't need that now, but then you did.
I mean, our show is all about 90s and noughties, and a lot of what we talk about is the difference of the music industry then compared to now for pop acts to be exposed and what it takes to be successful. But yeah, that's such a shame because I grew up. I said to Craig, I was like, I want to do Coffee by Supersister on season 3 because it's really when I was at when I was at university, it seemed like it was everywhere. It seemed like it was in every gay bar that I was going out to as like kind of a young gay man.
We did the university tours as well. We did everything.
I was probably there. Well, so on our next question is how How did Supersister form? How did it all start with the three? You said you were all friends, but what was the spark and the moment where you was like, we're going to be a girl band?
Well, Tina and Eleanor were in a girl group already called Supersister, and there was
Okay.
another member. There was another member, and she was the kind of like she was driving it on in a completely different direction. And when I came on board, I was like, I want to be in the band as well. Me and Eleanor met through doing work. I lived on the Wirral. They all lived in Sheffield. I then moved over to Sheffield because I was desperate to be in a girl group. I was like, I went to school with Lee from Steps. I auditioned for a Tom. I know he's like my best mate. And then I went to I auditioned for Atomic Kitten. I was told I was too old. So I was like, I'm definitely going to like. So when this opportunity came along, I was like, I'm really going for this. And but we met with a manager, and he was just like, the direction this needs to go in was very much using her music, this fourth member, and I didn't really like the music. So we kind of like made a decision that we would go with Sean's music, and that kind of like lent us to being more of a threesome and just kind of like working towards that line of pop. So that's pretty much how we met, and we were like together for about 2.5 years before we got our record deal. So there was a lot
Wow.
of like we were sweating the hard stuff. Like we were like rehearsing in a titanium factory in Sheffield. We all had like side jobs. We were and this is why it was so organic and so almost I think we worked so hard for our record deal, and then when we got it, we like literally blasted coffee for so long. We were literally burnt out by the end of it. But and that's why we disbanded naturally. But we weren't dropped or anything like that. I think we were just literally losing the will to live. Like, it was just inevitable. Because when you start promoting a song or being a band, you kind of gym in on the music industry at that particular time, and it was a very pivotal time because then they all started kind of like picking up instruments. Busted were coming out, it was all it all just changed again. And we just had the Spice Girls, so the Spice Girls really were like the queens of pop and give us permission to be able to do what we wanted to do. But they'd kind of come to the end of their term almost, when Jerry left and all that. So it's which is why I love it now, because it's like, oh my God, it just shows what the songs that we were doing were just classic pop hits, and and it stayed, there's been it stayed in, on people's playlists and things all this time.
It's been on my gym playlist for about 15 years, babe. I could be looking as macho as I can be, and then in my head, I'm listening to Coffee.
It's a pretty big song in America for a line dancing song. Like they
Is it?
Coffee, yeah. Like it just straight people line dance to this song.
Little do they know.
Little do they know.
I know. I'd love to go to America and
Oh, that's amazing. Can we talk a little bit, because you toured with Steps and Hearsay, didn't you?
And S Club 7 and
yes.
So okay. So what is life like as a support act? Because I think everyone probably thinks it's really glamorous and you get to hang out. What is it actually like?
Yeah, it's really hard work. It's really hard work in the sense that, with Hearsay, it was a 36-day arena tour. So you don't really socialise with the band an awful lot. They're treated like, very, like the Beatles almost. Like, I mean, especially with like Hearsay, for example. I mean, they were catapulted into fame. They were literally, they couldn't go anywhere. And they were really, really famous at that time. So it was very much, they were in their little bubble of doing it. And we were just like hard grafting Sheffield girl group, we were like hanging out with all the backstage, like lighting rig guys and everything, we're just normal people. So we just, it's just obviously a massive commitment to your schedule, and you just obviously perform 10,000 people, every night of the week. It's like it
As you
just
do.
becomes a job. It's a job that's really good, and you learn a lot about working the stage, what's good, what works, what doesn't. It really helps you learn your trade, I suppose. But no, it was really, really good fun. We loved it.
That's
Awesome.
I just love all these little stories. This is brilliant. You
Yeah.
mentioned about you mentioned before about Lee from Steps is one of your best mates, but anyone that listens to our show knows that we're both pretty big fans, but I'm a Steps super fan, and you should support them when they do their 30th anniversary tour, which we're all manifesting for 2027. Supersister should do it.
I know, and to be honest with you, I don't see Lee anymore now. He's just obviously he's so I don't. Yeah, I mean, we used to be back in the day, but he's. But I'm still so happy for him. He's just done so well, and he's. Yeah, I mean, I saw him. I saw him backstage. They were performing. I don't know if it was a don't think we supported Steps on their tour. It was just a one-off gig that we did, and I saw him, and he literally picked me up and spun me around. He was just like, "Oh my God, can you believe this?" And the weird thing was that that Spike from 911 was also in our class, so we were.
Stop it!
Yeah, I swear. So he was like, "What about Spike and me and you?" And this weird, because obviously when we were at acting college, it was it was drama school and musical theatre. They were doing the dance. I was doing the singing and acting, and they were not singers. They were dancers. So I'm like, I didn't even know you could sing, Lee. And he was like, "I know, it's Mars." But yeah. But yeah, he's just done so well. The both of them have done so well.
After you released Coffee, you released 2 more singles. You released Shopping Tune and Summer Gonna Come Again, which we just love the pun of it. Can you just talk a little bit about we said about before about Summer Gonna Come Again, because it is just so different to what the other songs were like?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that was always our album clincher. That was the one that we want. That was the one that we wanted people to listen to and go, yeah, they're not just a one-hit wonder. They're, this is the what I want to invest in this band now. I want to see what they can give on an 11-track album. And to be honest with you, I think at that point, managerial wise or record company wise, whatever the direction was, there'd just been a downturn in how we were getting presented. And again, I think it's the climate had changed for girl pop groups. There were 76 girl bands launched the year that we came out. I mean, I think everyone was just like, "Oh my God, another girl group." So you can imagine being an exec on a radio show or a TV, just going, "What? Who are they again? What?" I don't know. It just felt like it was. I don't know. I kind of feel like Summer was our album clincher, but it charted really poorly. It charted at something like 36 or something. And at that point, it literally, you might as well have just stuck a pin in us at that point. We were just like, "Oh no, that was meant to be the best one." And it still is an amazing, amazing ballad, and it's so well written. And it's just, again, if it was just played on a massive TV show, if it had massive exposure, the public would love it, and then it'd become amazing. But if you can't reach them, you can't reach them.
Yeah.
I totally. I think I said to Matty when I said this, if Atomic Kitten had come out with that song a few years later, radio would have been all over it. People would have been all over that song. It's just like you say, it's timing and trends and
and that's what's so devastating about it, because we signed a 5-album deal.
Okay, so we've talked about the album. It's now out through streaming, and you've performed at Hoopla.
Mm-hmm.
How did this all happen? And it is the album, just for people who maybe don't know, is it a mixture of old and new? Is it how has it been put together?
Yeah, so the album, we signed originally a 5 album deal, so we got a nice, really nice selection of I think it's 11 tracks, and put them on the album Lip Service. We released Coffee, Shopping, Some Are Gonna Come Again, and I think Lock Your Boyfriends Up. I can't remember now, but yeah, there was Catch a Dream on there as well. So when we got with Eleanor last September, she was just on her yearly trip home from Australia, and we just said, wouldn't it be great, if you could do one gig, what would it be? And she said, I'd do a really good festival. Like, I'd like to do and I said, well, Mighty Hoopla is the best one to do. And I said, shall I tag them? And so we tagged them, and Glenn, who is the owner of it, he completely like picked up on it, and he messaged me and he said, there's an offer in your inbox. So that was like amazing, because obviously it's just such a big event, and it was the perfect event for us. And
It was so good.
yeah, it really, really was. But the funny thing was, we were like, no one's really seen us or heard from us in a long time. We could have like really gone a bit wild or a bit off the rails, and I think it was a nice opener for them to go, oh yeah, they're still okay. Oh, they can still move. Oh, they can still sing. Oh, that's good. Because I think now that people know that we're like, we're kind of around and about and just bubbling away in the background a bit, it would be nice to do some more gigs. And it would be even better I'd like to do Hoopla in the evening. Like, if we could do it like a little bit later on, that would just be amazing.
As someone that was there, I was arriving as you were starting, and I felt for you with the first slot on the Sunday, because it's when people are arriving. But you did so well, and I just loved the fact that I couldn't believe that I thought it'd just be the three of you, but then you brought out the 8 dancers, and I was like, wow, okay, they have gone to town. This is a full production.
It's a full production.
I loved it, and I thought
and
it'd just be perfect.
Yeah, we just needed, I mean, that the capacity that stage has got, we did really well for the first act on. But I would have, if they'd have said to us, like, I don't know, Lulu's not turned up, can you go on main stage or ever, do a bit later, we would have literally had the place up, like, jumping, with the dancers and everything. I mean, we had such a good reception. I loved it, but I want to do it again, and I want to do it like bigger and better, and yeah.
Well, I think that if anyone's seen the videos that people, and I put a video up of you straight away. It was straight up on our socials. But I just think people need to be like booking you for this Pride or that Pride or things like that to perform, because you've got a show ready to go. I love that you say that you tagged them, because me and my delusion had it in my head that because we did a TikTok about Supersister about a year and a half ago, that was the reason why you'd been booked for Hoopla. And I was like, Craig, I said, Craig, I think we manifested this, because we did this TikTok about you, and then you started the page with our video, and we were like, oh my God, thank you. And what's really funny, Louise, I got a message from someone who I know back on the Wirral, who I went to school with, Ben, and he was just like, I know someone that works in this salon, and she was in a girl band, and she said that like you're talking about them on TikTok or something like that. And
that's funny.
I mean,
to be honest with you, I kind of feel it's been an accumulation of lots of people tagging and posting stuff and doing things, because I think the time is right. I kind of feel like it wouldn't have been. It's funny because I remember must have been about 2008, 2009. I was out, and I've always had this been like, coffee's never had its time. Coffee needs to be bigger. It's just like, and someone said to me, you need to let it go. It was what it was in 2000, and that's it. And I just remember thinking, no, you're fucking wrong. No, not at all. It's like, definitely, sorry if I swore. But it's definitely
we'll
like, bleep out. But it's definitely not been its time. But I suppose, so all of us have always like had this undercurrent that it's never quite reached the capability that it should have had. But yet, Tina said when we were in Anglesey discussing this, she was like, the time feels right now. And I was like, does it? And I think we did try in 2020, but it was COVID. So it was just like the timing was all wrong, because it's those momentous kind of 20 years, 25 years. And I think now it did feel right. On Sunday when we performed, it felt right. The dancers, everything was in alignment with us. Like, you know, you were there, like what you've done and said about us and stuff has just been amazing. And I kind of think collectively, everyone kind of doing that energy has brought it to something. And off the back of that, we've got, I think we've got 2 or 3 more gigs, which
Amazing.
is like, which has just come out of, like, you know, pretty much in the last week or two. So that's good. It's just obviously we want to just give the song the best platform we can possibly give it. And whilst we've got the energy, and, you know, I had breast cancer like 2 years ago, so it was a really shit time. And I kind of felt like, oh God, you know, I really need to get through it. And I've got through it. So, and I'm fine. And that in itself is just something where you just sit back and go, do you know what? I still want to give it as much as I can. And
I love that.
You know, just for everybody who had their first kiss to it, first dance to it, first anything to it, you know, it's now become a thing, hasn't it? It's now become a kind of iconic, kind of anthemic, beautiful, fun song, and it's still relevant. And I just don't want it to put it to bed. I want it to go on forever.
And you shouldn't, because I do think we talk about this a lot, about you said the 20 and the 25 year probably being, I think, the peak level of nostalgia for the kind of millennial people of when they remember something. And it does feel like the right time for things to have a resurgence. And if I go on TikTok or I go on Instagram, and the vast majority of things I follow are all pop culture anyway, the amount of times that your song comes up now and gets tagged in things is massive. And I just think you have to follow that momentum, whether it's that people go, oh yeah, I liked that song, or whether it's they absolutely loved it. Like, I think it's great. Like, book all of them gigs, get coffee on an espresso advert, like, get it there.
That's what we need. We need an advert.
An advert.
I know, but I mean, it's just because it just needs someone somewhere to go, I'm going to use that. I mean, I'd love it on RuPaul's Drag Race, or, you know, something like, I know.
Oh my God, it should be a lip sync.
It should.
Season 7, get it on. I think it's recording now. Like,
is it? Yes. I know, we'll have to tag him.
Do it. Say
it works.
When is the lip sync to Coffee happening? Oh, right, Craig, you had a question about the album before we wrap up.
Yeah, so because we want people to stream Lip Service because it's out now. So, other than the singles, which other song would you want people to hear on the album?
Oh, that's a good question. I really like Flick the Switch. Flick the Switch is a really good song. It's naughty, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's vocally, it starts really low and it goes really high. It's a challenging one, but it's a fun song. And also, is it disco dance? Disco dance, if you like more the disco kind of, like, you know, more the coffee kind of feel. That's, you know, there's some really good kind of songs, you know, just true pop songs. If we did another album, there's a song called Fantasy Island, which I really want to record. We've only got it as a demo, and but again, that was held back for the second album. So I was saying to the girls at the weekend, I was like, wouldn't you just love to go in the studio and do Fantasy Island? And like, oh my God, they would go crazy for it. You would all go mad for it. So yeah, I'd like to do that.
Let's manifest this. The time is right.
You know, if you hear Fantasy Island at Hoopla next year, you'd be like, she was on the money with that one. Yeah.
Well, I love Lock Your Boyfriends Up. I think that is an absolute tune. I played it in the in my living room. My housemate was like, "Who's this? This is great." I was like, "It's Supersister."
You know,
there you go.
there's two versions of that.
Oh
There's
yeah.
two versions. Yeah, there's two versions. So we did the demo of it, which I prefer the demo.
Okay.
But when we went into the studio, the producer just changed it up and came out with that one that's on the album.
Yeah.
But all the Super Sisters and all the back management still love the original demo. But I think we were just so up against time at that point, that we, because I think we did. Oh my God, we do things in such momentous years. I think it was we were recording that album in Shoreditch, when the Twin Towers happened. So it was one of those kind of like, right, we'll just go with that, because it was just a horrible day. Like, it was just an
Oh my
awful, yeah.
God.
So and we were meant to be performing at the Docklands that night with S Club, and we I think we cancelled the concert because of it. Yeah, or I think S Club did as well. Yeah,
Oh
because
my
it's all,
God.
yeah. But anyway,
Well, I'm glad the song came out to light. I hope we get to maybe hear the
yes,
demo, the version at some
yeah.
point.
Well, I think it'll make a B-side one day, definitely.
There we go.
Thank you.
Well, then, so speaking of which, our last question really is then is like, what is next for you guys? You said you've got a couple of gigs, but like, what would you really love to happen now that you've got some momentum back and you're all grown women back together, performing together?
I know. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I would love to do Brighton Gay Pride. I'd love that to happen. There's a few gigs that I would like to do. We are doing Chesterfield Gay Pride, so we're really looking forward to that, because they've been asking us for years to do that. So we're like really looking forward to doing that. And that's a nice and local one for us, because we're from, the girls from Sheffield. I used to live in Sheffield. And then we're back, I think we're going to go to Bethnal Green in London. We're going to do one there. And then we're going to, I think for us, I think there just needs to be, in this climate, I don't know, maybe a little bit more TV presence. Maybe talking about the fact of the human interests side of us, which is what we've been through as women. I think we're not just 25-year-olds, on stage, being cheeky pop anymore. We've now turned into mothers. We're all divorced. I've been through breast cancer. There's a lot more depth to us as people right now. And I kind of feel as if that kind of would lean into towards more of the fun side of us, but also that we are, there's an angle to us which should be explored. And I think we've all got a lot to say about stuff. So I think just on a personal level, that's what I'd like to portray Supersister, as more of a super vocal women, what we believe in, how we support, our communities and everything. So other than that, we're just, working hard for our families and just trying to, do Mighty Hoopla next year for sure. And any other big gigs along the way. And obviously, if the record company have been so supportive to us, I know that they would love to get us back in the studio and, do Fantasy Island or one of the other songs.
I'm waiting for this song now.
Yeah, it's such a great pop tune. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the door is open. Eleanor does live in Australia, so we do have a geographical nightmare with her. But I think that she has said that she will always do this trip again, because she did it, on her own without her kids, with her friend, and came over and it worked. And she's currently in Mallorca having a lovely few days on the beach, and then she'll fly back from Barcelona back to Perth. So yeah, so it's kind of, we've kind of gone through it and it's worked, and everyone's back at work this week. Do you know what I mean? We were back into our normal lives, but yeah, we do have this alter ego of a super sister. It just bubbles up in the background, and it's just really good to kind of like make us feel good, and for the good of what we've sang and how it can help and what we can do to, I don't know, put a smile on people's faces. You know, it was so worth it to see everyone's faces and meet people on Sunday. We should have met. You should have messaged the and we could have had a drink or something after.
Oh, babe, Hoopla is just crazy. Also, I don't know what it is about my phone company, but everyone was texting me. I was like, I can't get any messages when I'm here. The amount my phone was just, where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
So I would have loved that though. I would have loved that though. But I was there with my clacky fan in the crowd.
Yeah. I know, and I want to go there with merch next year. I just feel like we just need to do some Supersister merch. So and just get some, and now we understand it a lot more. So we know where, I thought it was, I had a completely different layout in my head. So it's just such a lovely park, isn't it? And such a great atmosphere down there. It was perfect.
It's amazing. It's crowded. Yeah. It's very busy. But it is a good weekend. It's great.
Yeah, it is really good.
Oh, well, Craig, I think that's about all we got time for, isn't it?
We could not have asked for more. I have to say, I think we do speak to people, and you have such clarity in what you recall. It's really nice to hear the stories, because so many people are like, I can't remember. I was doing drink and drugs, and it was such a blur. And it's really nice to hear stories from that time with such clarity. So thank you so much for that. It really makes a huge difference, and people are really going to appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, good memories.
Thank you so much, Louise. And yeah, we can't wait to hear more from Supersister.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Craig, that was amazing, wasn't it? Loved that.
I really enjoyed that. I love hearing stories. We always speculate about what it was like back then. I love hearing stories from people who were there, and from people who can actually remember what it was like. So, yeah, who would have thought? And suddenly, I understand with the It's Raining Men thing, why the gays flock to coffee.
I need this mashup. In fact, I might create it. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Maybe under the next Can't Stop the Pop mixtape, there's going to be a mashup of coffee and It's Raining Men. I'll make it happen. Oh, fantastic.
I'm here from this.
Yes, I'm here for it as well. So if you want to follow Supersister and follow the lovely Louise as well, they are Supersister_official on Instagram and TikTok. They've been really active on Instagram lately with Mighty Hoopla set and other things popping up. So go follow them. And when you listen to this episode, make sure you tag us and them as much as you can. That would be amazing. And if you want to listen to the song Coffee, and who wouldn't, like on a daily basis, you can find it on streaming. And Craig, where can they find us?
So Can't Stop the Pop has a website where there are over 500 reviews, including this song, of course, which you can find at can'tstopthepop.com.
We're also on social media. I'm Matt_Atkins9 on Instagram, my personal account. And you can also find us on TikTok at Can't Stop the Pop Podcast, where we basically do this, but in 60-second clips.
I love that. We don't really do that at all now on TikTok, but we do stuff. We do stuff. It up. We do stuff. I am Can't Stop _the Pop on Instagram and TikTok. We're also Can't Stop the Pop on YouTube because we have video content now.
We do. Do subscribe to our channels, get in touch, let us know what you think of the song, what you think of the show. Give us some updates on what you're thinking of the lovely Can't Stop the Pop podcast and your thoughts. Leave us a review, but only a good one, wherever you get your podcasts from.
That would be why we have no reviews. No, we do.
We do.
Thank you so much for listening, and join us next time for more
Can't Stop the Pop.